Welcome all to another program brought to you by Hannibal's Other Voice. We're trying to provide information concerning not just the city of Hannibal, but local government in general. But for the most part, for the episodes that we've done up till now, it's been the city of Hannibal. And the subject matter for today is going to be the brand new budget for the city of Hannibal for fiscal year 2005-2006. This budget was adopted by the council this month, June, and it will go into effect the first day of July. Now, the first thing that we want to talk about is giving credit where credit is due. And that is, we, in an earlier program, criticized the off-budget money that the city of Hannibal had in various funds, particularly in the general fund. I'm pleased to report that in this budget, great steps have been taken in order to include that what was off-budget cash in the opening balance of not only the general fund, but the other funds that are involved. And we have to give credit to our immediate past city manager, Lisa Peck, and the finance director for correcting what we thought was an omission on the part of the budget of the city of Hannibal. Now, I can't tell you precisely that all of the money of the city of Hannibal is included in the opening balances in this budget, but this is, as I talk to you now, is the 28th day of June, and the fiscal year for the city of Hannibal closes on June 30th at 5 p.m. That's when the books are closed and we start off on a new fiscal year. So we won't know, and the city's financial officials won't know the exact opening balances on all the various funds until a few days after the 1st of July. I suspect by July 10th or thereabout, they'll be able to provide us with the actual numbers, which, if anyone's interested, they can compare with the projections that are included in the new budget just adopted. We're going to try our best to include those actual figures in a graphic at the end of this program, but I must say we're not making any promises. We're just going to do our best. So with respect to the budget, what's the big news? Well, the big news is something that we've seen coming for quite some time, and that is, and you haven't heard of any reports of this from any local news media, the Hannibal Street Department has finally been eliminated from the city's general fund budget. Starting back with our first city manager and the first budget that he prepared in 1998, we have seen a diminishment of the budget for the Hannibal Street Department. It seems, and I say seems, that every time the city went looking for money, or the city manager went looking for money, it came at the expense of the street department. And so over time, the street department has been diminished and contracted to where it has become kind of a shadow of what it was years and years ago. The budget here shows that there are now 9 worker positions in the street department budget, or for street department workers. And that doesn't mean they're all filled. There's enough money to pay for 9 workers plus some supervisors. The rest of the funds for the street department are spread out in other budgets or in other parts of the general fund. There's some money for the street department in the general fund's public works budget. That's Department of Public Works, not Board of Public Works. There's also funding for the street department in the infrastructure sales tax budget and in the capital projects sales tax budget. Those are 2 different things. But by spreading the cost of the street department into several budgets rather than having it consolidated into one, makes it harder to track. Not just harder for people who might have an interest and might want to inquire, but it also makes it harder for members of the city council to keep up with what the street department is accomplishing and how much it's costing. Now, that's the main item that we wanted to report to you on today in this program, but there are a few notes that I would like to point out regarding the budget, and this is in no way comprehensive. If you or anyone else went through the budget, you would find things that presented a question in your mind that you would want to ponder or maybe make further inquiry. Three notes. Note number one regards the airport. In the airport budget, which is in the general fund, the budget calls for $120,000 in the cost of aviation fuel that is sold at the airport. On the income side of the budget, it shows income of $120,000. Now that means that if you look at that, you would think that the airport is selling aviation fuel at cost with no markup. I'm sure that's not right, but that's what the budget reflects, and so it doesn't give the citizen an accurate report of what is anticipated. Moving to the tourism budget, which is separate from the general fund, there's a line item that the cost of souvenirs for the tourism office will be $10,000. And the estimated revenue from those souvenirs is $3,172, which is quite different from the cost of goods sold. Now, let's make sure we take into account that many souvenir items are given away, either as appreciation for some individual or some visitor who has done something or has had a bad experience or whatever might be the cause, or given in recognition of some other benefit that has been conveyed, at least in the interpretation of the tourism personnel. But that is a big difference of in excess of $6,000 between cost of goods and sales receipts. And the other curious thing in the tourism budget is the fact that they have a line item for paying sales tax collected. Now, I think everyone knows that the city of Hannibal is a tax-exempt government. If the city sells concessions at the swimming pool, they don't have to charge sales tax. They're sales tax exempt. And they don't have to pay sales tax to the state or any other government agency. So it is curious why they have a line item for sales tax expense. And lastly, and this is a problem I point out, not with any criticism, I think it's an oversight. In the general fund budget, marked executive, that's the budget of the city manager. There is a new item that calls for an expenditure of $116,694 as a contribution to the Northeast Missouri Humane Society. Now, the Northeast Missouri Humane Society is a most worthy charity. They do good work there, and my family has personally benefited from the Humane Society and are supporters of it. The problem is the Missouri Constitution prohibits subdivisions, governments of the local governments of the state of Missouri from making donations. And I think the reason for that prohibition in the Constitution is if you start making donations from government funds, city funds, to worthy charities in your community, there's just no end to it. Back in the late 70s, when my good friend Henry Glasscock was mayor of Hannibal, he had a whole list of charities, local charities that he wanted to support, and included in his budget proposal donations to those charities. And that went on for a year or two until the question was raised, can the city lawfully do that? And our state representative at the time, Gary Sharp, asked for an attorney general's opinion, and the attorney general's opinion was no, a local government under our Constitution cannot make donations. Now, the city can contract for services. If a not-for-profit corporation is providing a service to the city or its citizens, that not-for-profit corporation can be compensated for those services, like the Meals on Wheels program of the Hannibal Nutrition Center. So maybe it's use of language or vernacular that's the problem here, but it is something that may be a trap for the unwary if proper legal means are not found in order for the city to financially support the activities of the Humane Society that's so great about taking care of stray pets and the adoption of pets, so on and so forth. So we offer that as a caveat to the city council and the administration of the city of Hannibal. So that concludes the program for today. We appreciate your kind attention. We also appreciate your comments, and we appreciate any input that you would like to have, even if you just see one of us on the street. By all means, offer your criticism, if criticism there be. We're glad to have it, and we really try to learn from it. For preview purposes, our next edition, we anticipate, will be an exploration of the regional approach for city government activities. I think that word has been used quite often as we talk about addressing the situations that the city confronts itself and services it needs to provide. So here within the next month or 6 weeks, we hope we'll have a program on that for your consideration. Thank you for viewing. We appreciate it very much.